tell us about yourself and why you're running for this office. And we're going to start with Matt Blatt, who's running for Zone 3. Matt?
So I'm Matt Blatt. I retired from the Army as Lieutenant Colonel after more than 20 years of active service and chose to live here in Coeur d'Alene to be closer to family. I had expected to spend my days fishing and hunting and camping, but I discovered there are many contentious issues here. Frankly, our school district is a rudderless ship just drifting aimlessly on the lake. The administration and the board seem to jump from crisis to crisis instead of preventing them. Officials are either blind to the steady march of anti-family and anti-conservative values, or they're supporting it. The bottom line is our schools are failing our children and the community. What makes me qualified? I hold a Master of Science in Management. I'm a graduate of the Command and General Staff College and hold certificates from the Naval Postgraduate School. I was a senior advisor to generals, the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and foreign ministers. I am a problem solver. I have a long track record of addressing complex issues, and I'm running for the CDA School Board Trustee to ensure better leadership and public engagement. And thank you for the opportunity to answer your questions tonight.
Okay, thanks. Next up, we'll have Yasmin Harris running for Zone 2. Yasmin?
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for hosting this public forum. My name is Yasmin Harris. I'm a mom of 2 boys in the Coeur d'Alene School District, a wife to Todd, who is a retired U.S. Marine, and I'm currently on staff at Pathway Church as the Director of Ministry Development. My background and career have been in both finance and commercial property management, with a focus on budgets and financials for both large and small companies alike. The reason I'm running: I'm a proud mom of the Coeur d'Alene School District. I have a vested interest in protecting our children and the future generation of Coeur d'Alene. I know that there are issues in our district and there are issues in the direction we are headed. And as a concerned parent, I want to make sure we maintain transparency with our community by being the voice for the parents, the voice for the students, and to elevate student achievement, budget clarity, and fight back against bullies. I'm looking forward to this evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Yasmin. Next up, we'll have Jimmy McAndrew running for Zone 2. Jimmy?
All right. Good evening, and thank you to the Coeur d'Alene Chamber, and thank you to the Coeur d'Alene Press for hosting tonight's debate. My name is Jimmy McAndrew. I'm a lifelong North Idahoan. I'm a proud North Idahoan, and I'm the lucky husband to my wife, Julie, and father to Grace and Griffin, both of which are in the Coeur d'Alene School District. And for the past 20 plus years, I've had the luxury and the benefit of serving Coeur d'Alene and serving Coeur d'Alene residents professionally. I've helped thousands of families in Kootenai County achieve home ownership or improving their financial situation. That's professionally. I work for one of the best companies in town, and I'm just very fortunate that they support me and support things like this, getting involved in the community. Personally, I've just done everything I can to give back to Coeur d'Alene over the last 20 years because it's really blessed my socks off. In 2004, I co-founded the Coeur Group, and what the Coeur Group has done over the last 20 years has helped to serve underprivileged kids. And also I've served as the Excel Foundation's.
Sorry about that, Jimmy. We're gonna have to keep you to the time there. I appreciate that, just to make sure everyone has an equal chance there with their time. Next up, we will go to Mike Stavish, also running for Zone 2. Mike?
I'm Mike Stavish. I'm running for the school board, and I've been here since 1994 when I was a small child. I attended a number of the public schools. I'm a small business owner, a husband, and a father to 3 children currently attending the public schools themselves. Our community is losing trust in our schools and the school administration because we are concerned with spending and curriculum accountability. We want assurances from trustworthy people that we are using our hard-earned dollars wisely and that our children are getting a classic and healthy education. I am your person to trust. As a father, I am personally vested in what happens in our schools and in what kind of people our children will become. I offer this trust through transparency. I will look at our budget closely and share it with you clearly and concisely. I will look at our curricula and ensure that it is based on a classic and healthy education. I want to ensure that we are producing educated children with positive life values. So I ask you to vote for trust, vote for transparency, and vote for Mike Stavish.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next up, we will have Heather Tenbrink running for Zone 3. Heather?
Thank you for this opportunity tonight. I've had kids in the Coeur d'Alene School District for the last 15 years. My husband and I moved here 19 years ago, and we have raised our family in Coeur d'Alene. My kids have attended Skyway, Woodland, and Lake City high schools, all in Zone 3, and they have had great educational and extracurricular activities at all of these schools. 2 of our children have graduated from Lake City. 2 of our children still attend Lake City, and we love Lake City, especially the block schedule and the many opportunities that provides for our kids. I have been a volunteer in our classrooms and for activities since my kids started school, but I also served for 5 years as the treasurer and then president of the Skyway PTA, and that has given me unique insights into our schools. Also, I've been on the board for the last 2 years. It's been an honor to serve there. A little bit about me, I earned a bachelor's degree in science from Purdue University, and I worked in that field for a few years before going to be a stay-at-home mom for many years. When I was ready to re-enter the workforce, I went to NIC and took some accounting classes, and I now work as a tax accountant for a CPA firm. That's experience that's given me confidence in dealing with budget matters in our school district. And the reason I'm running is
Sorry about that, Heather. I know 1 minute doesn't seem like a long time for everybody, and we apologize. We just want to make sure everyone has enough time to get through all the questions, and so sorry to have to cut you short there. Let's jump right into the questions. There will be 3 tonight for each of you. The first question that we have is, what do you believe is the most important issue facing the Coeur d'Alene School District, and how would you address it if elected? Yasmin Harris, we're going to start with you.
Well, that's a great question. An issue I see is belief that all is well in our schools and that we can't be touched by outside forces or influences. And to me, that's a naive approach. I believe we are doing many things well, but my worldview, living in many states, other countries, I feel I can speak into that. It starts with trust and transparency. I think that it's important that we are protecting our children and that we are communicating with parents. I think that we just need to be open for having conversation and dialogue, and to know that there are concerns in the communities. And as a trustee, having an open ear to those questions and getting answers to our community.
Thank you. Next, Jimmy McAndrew, running for Zone 2.
Sure. I honestly, I think that it's a threefold. What our threats are. Number one, taxpayers, they want value. So we need to deliver on that to them. They expect to have a great return for their dollar, and they worked hard for it. So number one, we need to return the value to our taxpayers. Number two, parents in the district, they just want a district that they can trust. They're sending their kids off every morning and expect that they're being challenged and they're walking away with a great experience, and that they're learning what they need to learn to move on to the next stage of their life. And number three, I think teachers, they need to feel like they've got the resources and the support of their community. And we've gone through a lot over the last several years, but I think if we can strengthen those 3 places, kids win. They get an incredible scholastic experience. They get a bright future. And I believe that we can have a win-win-win if we just focus on the taxpayer, the parent, and the teachers and staff, so that we're all putting our eyes on the kids and their future.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Next, we'll have Mike Stavish, Zone 2. Mike?
Thank you. So I think one of the primary issues with our schools right now is funding and budgeting, and primarily how we fund our schools. We do that, according to Idaho law, with the supplemental levy. That's a little bit of a unfortunate term, since supplemental very much sounds like extra or bonus. It's not really that in any sense at all, actually. Idaho expects local communities to fund their schools by up to 25% through these supplemental levies. I didn't even know that until last year. I had to look into it myself, and that was a lot of the impetus to get me to want to run in the first place. I thought the messaging was very terrible. I thought asking for it in perpetuity was tone deaf, and I felt like not enough people understood exactly how we hope to fund our schools in the first place. And I think a lot of people take for granted that this is a great power that we have, the people here, that we can let them know every 2 years, well, we're actually not happy with you about something. And maybe it's not even actually the levy, but we're going to use this to make you pay attention. So I'm glad we have this system. But I hope to be one of those people who can get in there and figure out what's going on, put this information together in a public and easily understandable format so that everyone has strong assurances that we are keeping under budget, we are using the money wisely, and the next time a levy rolls around, we are okay with it because we understand what it's doing and we believe in the value it's going to bring to us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Next, we'll have Heather Tenbrink.
So I have several things that would be a focus for me in the next 4 years. The first one and the biggest one is our student achievement. We have some goals that we've set in the district to improve our student achievement, and we're trying to really focus on that primary goal. And there are several other things that kind of go along with that primary goal. It's important that we continue to provide varied academic and activity programs for our students. We need to help our kids achieve at all levels. And that includes our kids who need some extra help to get to grade level. That includes our kids who are ready for advanced opportunities to continue to grow, and everyone in between. We need all those programs to serve our children well and help our student achievement improve. Also, to effectively implement a plan to increase student achievement, we need some stability. We have had a lot of turnover in our superintendents in the last decade or so. And it would be nice to have a little more stability in all of our district office positions, as well as in our teaching staff. We need to keep our excellent teachers. We have some really good teachers in the Coeur d'Alene School District. And as we provide fair compensation and a supportive environment, we can keep those teachers and keep them teaching our kids and doing what we want them to do. Another goal of mine is to increase the connection with our community. As a board member, we have directed administration to develop a better communications plan. There are some issues with our previous communications plan. We'd like to communicate better with our community. And we've also committed as a board to holding regular community events so that people can come interact with us and talk to us. And finally, I think parents need to be valued. I believe that parents are the primary influence in their children's lives. Everything that happens in our schools is more successful when our parents are involved. So we need to encourage our parents to be involved and participate with their children in their schooling.
Okay, thank you. And finally, we'll have Matt Blatt running for Zone 3. Matt.
Thanks. So let's talk about academic performance. Some like to boast that we have high performance schools. I looked at the ISAT results. I was pretty dismal. 64% of our students are scoring as proficient or higher in English, and only about 46% are proficient or higher in math. On the surface may sound pretty good, but let's rip that Band-Aid off. That means out of every 10 of our kids, 4 are failing English and 5 are failing math. That is unacceptable and awful. The administration needs to do a better job of managing the teacher's time and providing protected time so these teachers can write proper class plans. The next part of this is the community has been evidenced through the levy vote, has absolutely lost the trust and confidence in the administration and the board. In just the last board meeting as an example, neither the public nor even the board of trustees had any idea what the superintendent was going to present at that meeting. So decisions were made with no public input and very little understanding on the part of the trustees. So those are the big issues. There doesn't seem to be strong leadership from the board, and we're not facing up to the harsh reality that our students are being failed by us and our administration. That's about it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Matt.